If you had a company of 3,000 people, and you had different campuses. You had some of them in Charlotte, some of them in Rhode Island, some in Chicago, some in Phoenix, some in Idaho. You could have 30 bad employees, and they may never meet each other. One bad guy's here, one bad guy's there. But if you had a company of 9 people, and they all worked in the same space, one bad egg, one bad relationship blows it up. That's why I've always said in the NBA, chemistry is so crucial in the NBA. Melo, his mere existence, he was an agitator, wouldn't play defense. Chauncey Billups, the ultimate lubricator, not a great player. Every team he goes to got better. Harden and Westbrook is going to be problematic. First of all, their styles don't mesh. They don't mesh. They're both ball-centric, high usage, 1 and 2 in the league. The other thing is, when they used to play together, they didn't have all this money. And we all change. Okay? They weren't 500 million, 200 million net worth guys. They weren't 6 homes guys. They weren't MVP guys. They are now guys who are known for scoring, trophies, MVPs, style, fashion. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. And chemistry in Houston is not good. Don't listen to anybody. This is an organization that claimed we're never trading Chris Paul. Those are outrageous rumors. Please. Last night, Harden Westbrook early on barking. Now, that's just one instance. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't really matter. But the way they lost does. Giannis fouled out. Best defensive player in the league. At home, their offense disintegrated. James Harden, was he overthinking? Didn't have a field goal in the second half. Was he overcompensating? You know and I know Harden, off a terrible first game, is going to make sure adamantly he has a great second game. Then Russell Westbrook perhaps overcompensates, backs off. Listen, relationships are really important in the NBA. That's why I've always said one of the great gifts of Magic Johnson, who you just saw in Undisputed, or LeBron, they're great lubricators. LeBron gets along with people. Magic made everybody work. Kareem was kind of prickly, and Magic was fun, and James Worthy was a little of both, and Magic made it all work. Westbrook, everybody that plays with him, that leaves, gets better. Doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. But he's an agitator, not a lubricator as a teammate. And Harden, similarly, is not easy. He's an MVP every year. You think he's going to now, off a terrible first game, say, you know what, I got to make this thing work. No, he's going to say, I got to make James Harden work. So I don't think it works. Giannis fouled out, and Houston was still against the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th best player Milwaukee had, couldn't score. Now, Russell Westbrook, and again, they're overcompensating. Westbrook, it's one game, is already getting defensive on the whole Harden-Westbrook thing. The reality is they know it's hovering over. They know everybody's talking about it. Why would you get this agitated game 1 with your best friend? Doesn't that seem a little intense for really good friends? Because they can feel the pressure. And I like Houston. Tillman Fertitta's the owner. I love him. Daryl Morey's the GM. I love him. Here's the reality. When we suggested Melo's not going to work, they told us, it's working. When we suggested Chris Paul needed to be traded, he'll never be traded. They traded him. They're going to protect those two. They got tickets to sell. Houston's a transient sports town. The Texans are good. The Astros are good. They got tickets to sell. They want to make this thing optically work off the NBA China thing that was incredibly rough for the organization. But last night is exactly what I thought. A little ugliness. They're overcompensating. It doesn't work collectively, but individually, Westbrook had some great moments. And in the first half, Harden had some great moments. And they're officially 0-1. The Clippers just beat LeBron and AD right in the Lakers building, if you will. And last night they opened the Golden State new arena, and the Clippers destroyed them. And this is who they are. I know it's a small sample, but it doesn't take a huge sample to figure something out. The Clippers are going to be really, really good. Just think about this. In the NBA now, it's the year of the duo. They have the best player, Kawhi, maybe the best duo, and 3 through 12, not a GM in the league would argue. Clippers have the best 3 through 12 roster. So they got the best player, I believe, Kawhi. They have maybe the best duo, because I do think LeBron and AD are better individual talents, but collectively won't be as good as Paul George and Kawhi. And they have the 3 through 12, and they have a great Hall of Fame coach. Let's just I know it's hard to embrace. Kawhi's the best player in the game, and he's the most impactful. LeBron's too old, can't play defense. He got tired in game one. Steph's too small, doesn't play defense. Harden's a side of the court guy. And I saw Giannis go up against Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs. Stop it already. I saw Giannis marginalized by Kawhi Leonard. He's the best player in the league, and he is the most impactful, and you got to get over it. Now, I understand because of the Clippers' history, which is losing, and because Kawhi is boring, that's not what we're used to. We're used to MJ, who was cool and hip, and the dress and the shoes and the smile and the cheekbones. It was perfect, right? And as Kobe, he's flashy, and Shaq and Magic and Bird, and they all had nicknames. And Kawhi's got a mid-range jumper, and he's really efficient. And he doesn't really need the ball to dominate, and he wears New Balance shoes, and I'm in my 50s, and I don't even wear New Balance shoes yet. I get it. I get the Clippers' history is hard to embrace. I get Kawhi is hard to put your arms around. He's the best player. This is the best roster, and I think it's the best duo. Here's your next dynasty. A lot of times dynasties are easy to see. Shaq and Kobe was easy to see. The Lakers had a history of putting in great teams. You could see their talent. You're like, hey, go win a bunch of titles. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Jimmy Johnson, and the Cowboys. The big coach, the big quarterback. He looked like an NFL head coach. He looked like a Hall of Fame quarterback. Emmitt Smith, the defense. And they'd had dynasties before with Roger Staubach. A lot of dynasties you can see coming. Showtime Lakers, Shaq and Kobe. I mean, you could see Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Pat Riley, the architect building it. Chris Bosh comes over. You knew they were going to be really good. You knew when Durant joined Clay and Steph. That's the easy one. This one's harder. Mid-range jumper, New Balance shoes, weird laugh, doesn't need the ball to dominate. This is the best player, probably the best duo, easily the best roster, and one of the best coaches. And I'd argue a top 5 owner. And I'd argue a top 3 scouting department. Put your arms around it. Like what you're watching right now, this is, Paul George isn't even playing. Paul George isn't even playing. They didn't have Kawhi last year. They won 48 and gave the Warriors with KD problems. Put your arms around it. This is the next dynasty. They're just called the Clippers. And their star doesn't talk. In a star-driven, flashy league, he's like a dependable 32-mile-a-gallon car that never breaks down. It's just, they're great. They're just going to be great. You're just not used to it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.